Hey YouTube, how you doing? This is Real Talk, and I'm coming to you with a new episode. And in this short presentation, we're going to talk about how we're living in modern day Egypt. Now, this may have eluded many, but yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. So let's take a look at why God allowed the Israelites to get captured in Egypt. So let's get started. Question: why did God send the Israelites to Egypt for 400 years? That's in Genesis 15 and 13. Answer: in Genesis 15 and 13, the Lord tells Abraham, "Know for certain that your offspring will be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and will be servants there. And they will be afflicted for 400 years." God knows everything that will happen, and he revealed part of their future to Abraham. God's plan included sending the Jews to Egypt for 400 years. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and this is a pretty good article here, and the link is in the description. But basically, we are going back. We're going back to the same thing that our ancestors did in the beginning of the Israelites when they were captured in Egypt. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's very clear that there's a lot of Egyptian culture in America. But, people are not paying attention because we're being distracted with other things, because we're not paying attention to God, but history is repeating itself again. And this is what I mean. First off, we have the dollar. As we all know, there's an Egyptian pyramid on the back of the dollar. And as I've stated in other videos, on the right, well, not on the right, but in the center of the screen, we see the greenback, the United States note. So let's read a little bit about the United States note. And this link is also in the description to this article. But here's just the tip of it. A United States note, also known as legal tender note, is a type of paper money that was issued from 1862 to 1971 in the U.S., having been current for over 100 years. They were issued for longer than any other form of U.S. paper money. They were known popularly as greenbacks in their heyday, a name inherited from the earlier greenbacks, the demand notes, that they replaced in 1862. Often called legal tender notes, they were called United States notes by the first Legal Tender Act, which authorized them as a form of fiat currency. So it admits that it's fiat currency. During the 1860s, the so-called second obligation on the reverse of the note stated, "This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, except duties on imports and interest on the public debt, and is redeemable in payment of all loans made to the United States." They were originally issued directly in circulation by the U.S. Treasury to pay expenses incurred by the Union during the American Civil War. So that was during Lincoln's time. Over the next century, the legislation governing these notes was modified many times, and numerous versions were issued by the Treasury. United States notes that were issued in the large size format before 1929 differ dramatically in appearance when compared to modern American currency. But those issued in the small size format starting in 1929 are very similar to contemporary Federal Reserve notes, which is what we see in the center of the screen, with the highly visible distinction of having a red U.S. Treasury seal. Okay, as we see the seal there, and serial numbers. We see those red serial numbers in place of green ones. Okay. Existing United States note remain valid currency in the United States. However, as no United States notes have been issued since January 1971, they are increasingly rare in circulation. So there you go. The real money was the United States note because it was debt-free, And then we have the Egyptian money, which is, it has a debt attached to it, and then everybody's slave to the debt because it's a perpetual debt that we can't get out of. But that's where that's at. Let's see, large size series of 1800 United States notes. The $20 note displayed Alexander Hamilton and a red scallop seal. Wow. Alexander Hamilton and a red scallop seal. And the $10 Daniel Webster and a large red spiked seal. Oh, so those are the old style ones up there in the corner on the left. And look at all the Egyptian influences that we have in America. We got it on the dollar bill. We got the movies, putting the Mummy. There is the TV series called Secret of ISIS. Down on the bottom, the ISIS, which is the terrorist group that we all hear about. We got the Egyptian obelisk, and then there's one in the city of London, the Washington Monument, and the Vatican, which is actually modern day Rome. So it's slash modern day Egypt, modern day slash modern day Rome is what we're living in, because the canon law is Roman. So we're still under the authority of Rome. Depiction of Egyptian mythology. Okay, well, Anubis. I just picked one because and this link is in the description as well. This thing had a long list, but I just picked one. In Val Luton's 1942 film Cat People, the protagonist Irene stands on the museum stairway by a giant black statue of Anubis. Okay, the film Night of the Museums. Idols of Anubis chase after Larry daily until they come to an opening they cannot get through. See? In the episode, The Backyard Diggins, two statues of Anubis are seen. Revenge of the Mummy ride at Universal Studios Orlando is Anubis. Doctor Who spinoff of K9 features an alien culture of Anubis in the episode Curse of Anubis. See? Stargate. In there too. Anubis was Goa'uld, the major enemy in the TV series Stargate SG-1. In the original film Stargate, and Anubis-headed Jaffa was one of the palace guards of the god King Ra, which is that eye symbol. It was basically the eye on the back of the dollar. In the Egyptian-themed first-person shooter game Power Slave, one frequent enemy is Anubis zombie. Then we got Nintendo, Kingdom Hospital from Stephen King. There's Gargoyles, Disney's Gargoyles, that's Egyptian. Digimon, see, it's all around us. So, you know, we're definitely living in modern day Egypt. And the reason I bring this to I'm going to make this video super short. And the reason I stated the reason I bring this to light is because everybody's trying to get out. A lot of the truth tellers, like what is it? I did a video on them. A lot of the truth people that are, you know, Professor Griff and the blue and red pill dudes, and they all have the Illuminati. They have the Egyptian pyramids on, you know, as their logos. So that tells you who they're working for. You see? And it all ties together. So the Bible's real. Those dudes are working for the system to try to ensnare you into their system. And we have two options. We got two options. Either you abide by the Egyptian rules and regulations called the statutory laws and codes and all that stuff, or you go out in the wilderness and you leave Egypt. And by leaving Egypt, I mean leaving the cities. You got to leave all these cities. You got to leave the benefits behind. You got to leave the comforts of the city. You got to basically do what Israel did when they left Egypt, like the physical Egypt, back when Moses rescued the Israelites out of Egypt. They took, you know, out in the wilderness. That's the bottom line, because we're living in a modern day Egypt. And if you're not willing to do that, then accept the fact that you're a servant to someone else. That's why, because I had a statement on one of my other videos. Yeah, man, you reading a book of slaves, and yeah, you're right. Because God already knows that we're because check this out. Didn't the Europeans come here to a land that wasn't theirs and pretty much took America by force from the Indians? This land wasn't theirs. They just came in and got on it and said, okay, this is ours, and they just took it by force. This supposed country called the United States was founded on killing, founded on guns, founded on there's a law in the books called adverse possession. It was founded on adverse possession. Anyway, I just wanted to make this short video to just give you guys heads up that we're living in a modern day Egypt. Two options: follow God or follow the God of Egypt, which is basically Satan. It's your choice. Anyway, this is going to wrap it up for this video. This is Real Talk. I'm going to go ahead and catch up with you guys next time.